The word we are learning today is invisible. So let's write that on the whiteboard. Oops. In the story, Grandma Poss used her magic and made Hush invisible, meaning we couldn't see him. What's the word for something that we can't see or is not visible? Invisible. What's the word? Invisible. If a boat kept sailing into the sunset until we couldn't see it, it would become invisible. If you say something and someone ignores you, you might feel invisible. So it means you might feel like nobody sees you. What's the word for something that is not visible? Invisible. And what does the word invisible mean? So if we were to do a deeper learning activity so we're looking at questions and reasons, we might say, would you rather be able to fly or be invisible? And why? We could relate it to a personal experience. If you were invisible, what might you do? If we're going to look into the grammar of a word, so we'll look at the different morphemes in the word invisible. We'll break it up into in, vis, able. So in means not, vis means to see, or it relates to the sense of sight, and the last morpheme means able to. So if we put the meanings together, it helps us understand the word means not able to be seen. So this might also help us spell the word when we want to use it. This time we're going to be mapping our phonology, how we say the word, to how we spell the word, our orthography. The word is invisible. Read the word with me. Invisible. What's the word? Amy, what's the word? Ben, what's the word? Everyone, what's the word? First we break the word invisible into its syllables. In, vis, a, bull. Say it with me. In, vis, a, bull. Show me with your fingers how many syllables are in the word invisible. Let's tap the syllables together. In, vis, a, bull. What's the first syllable, Amy? In. What's the second syllable, Ben? Vis. What's the third syllable, Cara? What's the fourth syllable, Daniel? Bull. And the word is invisible. Let's have a look at our written word. So read the word with me. Invisible. How many syllables are in the word? How many vowels do you see? Are they together or apart? Here we're asking them if any of the vowels are digraphs or trigraphs to help us make sure we are identifying the right syllable boundaries. Do you see a silent E? Yes, we do. We can see the final syllable is a consonant followed by L and silent E. What's the first syllable, Amy? In. What's the second syllable, Ben? Vis. What's the third syllable, Cara? What's the fourth syllable, Daniel? Bull. Then you call on individual students to ask for syllables in a random order. What's the second syllable, Cara? What's the fourth syllable, Amy? So it's important to do it in order and then out of order for students to have a really good recognition of the syllables. Everybody, let's say the syllables in order. In, vis, a, bull. What's the first syllable in invisible, Daniel? In. So looking at the word, how do we spell in? I-N. What's the second syllable, Cara? Vis. How do we spell it? V-I-S. What's the third syllable, Amy? And how do we spell it? With an I. So remember, it's a schwa sound, but spelt with an I. What's the fourth syllable, Ben? Bull. And how do we spell it? B-L-E. Remember, the bull sound is the final syllable with a consonant B L, and silent E. Now I'm going to remove the word but leave the lines showing for each syllable. What's the last syllable and how do we spell it, Amy? Bull, and it's spelled B-L-E. What's the first syllable and how do we spell it, Ben? In, I-N. What's the second syllable and how do we spell it, Cara? Viz, V-I-S. What's the third syllable and how do we spell it, Daniel? And spelt with an I. How do we spell the whole word, Ben? I-N-V-I-S-I-B-L-E. So everybody on your whiteboard, write the word invisible.